Now, what if I was to tell you that there is a way that you could actually hold your assets in a manner that nobody would ever know that they are actually yours? I'm talking about properties, land, bonds, shares, a business, or even some paintings. And I'm not talking about registering a holding company in the Cayman Islands for tax purposes. I'm talking about something very local. And what if I was to go ahead and tell you that you could leave the same benefits to your children and grandchildren and even get to decide how much they will be receiving and when? Now, I'm talking about a trust fund, a concept that is relatively new in the developing world. But what exactly is a trust fund and how does it work? Hello and welcome to BIMO 101, a channel where we discuss insurance and also other related types of investments. Now, if you're new to the channel, then please subscribe and also hit on the notification button so that you're notified whenever we do a new video. Now, on the 21st of December 2021, a very important law came into effect here in Kenya. Now, the law was known as the Perpetual Succession Amendment Act of 2021. Now, this law gave relevance or recognition to family trusts, otherwise commonly known as trust funds. Now, in this video today, we'll be taking a closer look at trust funds. We'll be looking at how they work and also some of the benefits of having one. And make sure that you stick around until the end of the video because I'll be giving you some tips on what you should consider before you actually start a trust fund for yourself and your family. A trust fund is a legal entity that is designed to hold and also manage assets on someone's behalf, usually with the help of a neutral third party. Now, there are three different parties in a trust fund. The first party is what you call the guarantor. This is the person who establishes that particular trust fund and is responsible for funding it, as well as giving directives as to how the assets will be managed and also distributed. The second party is the trustee. Now, this is the person who is actually entrusted to manage the particular trust fund and also to carry out the directives of the guarantor. Now, the third party is the beneficiaries. Now, these are the people who will actually be receiving the benefits of that particular trust. Now, there are two different types of trust funds. There's the first one, which you call an living or revocable trust. Now, in this type of trust, the terms can actually be changed while the guarantor is still alive. So if the guarantor feels that there are some things that they need to include or maybe some things that they need to change, they can easily do that while they are still alive. Now, the second type of trust is what you call an irrevocable trust. Now, in this type of trust, the guarantor cannot change the terms of the trust, even though they're still living, and if at all they will change the terms, they will need the approval of the beneficiaries. Now, a trust fund can be established individually or jointly with others in order to plan and also manage your assets. And the first step in forming a trust fund will be to highlight the objectives of that particular trust fund. Why are you starting a trust fund? What do you need the trust fund to do for you? Is it succession planning, helping you determine how your assets will be distributed amongst your beneficiaries, or is it business succession planning, figuring out how your business will continue running long after you're gone? Is it asset protection, which I will explain later how that works, or is it personal finance planning? There are people who might want to actually bring all their assets together under one maybe legal entity so that they are easily managed. I mentioned earlier that you could maybe have a business, you have properties, you have stocks, so you can actually bring them together and manage them more easily. So that is the first step when forming a trust fund, figuring out the particular objectives of that particular trust fund. The second thing is to figure out how you will fund that particular trust fund. Will you include your properties there? Is it stocks? Is it bonds? Is it cash money? So what are some of the things that you will include in that particular trust fund? That is the next step. The third step is to figure out who will manage that trust fund. Now, I mentioned earlier about a trustee. Now, a trustee could perhaps be a friend of yours that you have. It could be a relative. It could also be an older child or a corporate. Yeah. So this will be the person responsible to manage that particular trust fund, and also to carry out any directives that you have. Now, once you have the objectives, you have the funds for the trust, and also you have the trustee. The next step will be to prepare the trust deeds and also other related documents. Here you will need a qualified professional who will guide you to ensure that you meet the objectives of that particular trust fund. Now, once the trust deed is done, you can now go ahead to actually register that particular trust fund. Now, in Kenya, you find that registering a trust fund will cost you around 10,050 shillings, but the professional that you chose to do the deeds with can also guide you through the whole process to ensure that the trust is now registered and up and running. So once this is done, you now have a trust in your hands. What are some of the benefits of having one? Warren Buffett once said, "Give them enough to do anything, but not enough to do nothing." This perhaps best explains the main goal of having a trust fund, which is succession planning, ensuring that your beneficiaries have enough and that they also use it responsibly. With a trust fund, you can, for example, indicate that a particular person will receive their share once they perhaps maybe graduate college or after attaining a certain age. This helps to attach some level of responsibility to that inheritance. The second benefit of having a trust fund is that it will help protect your assets from predators and also keep your information private. Now, if for example you have a will and you happen to pass on, there will be a court process known as probate, where the court will try to establish the authenticity of your will. Now, this is a court process that takes some time, and a lot of information will be available to the public. This means that there won't be that level of privacy, and a lot of people could take advantage of that. At the same time, you also need to remember that in case of a will, creditors or debtors always take first dibs, and therefore, again, your beneficiaries will be at a loss. By having a trust fund, you won't have to go through this process, and you can actually leave your assets intact and also save a lot of taxes to your beneficiaries. The third one is to lower your taxes. Now, once assets are transferred into a trust fund, it is considered as a separate legal entity, and they are therefore not considered part of your estate for tax purposes. This means that your tax liability will potentially be lower, allowing more of your assets to be passed on to your beneficiaries. The fourth and last one is to help you plan for your future. With a trust fund, you ensure that there is a smooth transition of the assets to your beneficiaries. You are able to better take care of people with special needs. There could be children who are younger, and with a trust, you can include conditions that will help protect them and also provide for them way into the future. Now, before I give you the tips on some of the things that you should probably consider before you start up a trust, I should take this opportunity to mention that I am an insurance agent. I've been doing this for more than 8 years, and I have experience with life insurance and also other forms of general insurance. So if you're in need for education policies, life policies, medical insurance policies, or motor insurance policies, you can get in touch with me using the contacts on your screen. And if you simply just want to consult on any type of insurance, you can always get in touch with me again using the contacts on your screen. And remember, this is totally free of charge. You can always contact me on anything that you need regarding insurance. So I did promise that I have a tip for you before starting out a trust fund for yourself or for your family, and indeed I do. And it's actually rather very simple, which is to make sure that you are working with a professional, somebody who has experience dealing with the same. This is because most of the things that are involved in preparing the documents and also setting up the trust are very technical, and a qualified lawyer, family lawyer, would perhaps be best placed to guide you through. So this is not something that you could just shop around for, maybe download a template in the internet and feel. No, you really need to sit down with a professional who will guide you through the whole process. But I actually wish you all the best. I believe that this is something that would transform the country. There are so many people in the developing world who have assets that they have invested, they have earned money. It could be from business, it could be from employment, and they might be looking for better ways to actually manage what they have. I do believe that trust funds are a great way to go. That marks the end of the video. I hope that you have learned something new today. If you have any question or suggestion, then you can leave them on the comment section. If you'd love to get in touch with me, then you can do so using the number on your screen or the social handles on your screen. And at this point, I would love to immensely thank you for getting to the end of the video. Please remember to like and also subscribe in order to help the channel grow. And until next time, have a good one.